We just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do a top 5. Yes, a top 5. We have not done one in quite some time, but we're going to do one. This is a request that has been asked of me for quite some time, and I finally got around to it. My top 5 toughest enemies for Godzilla. Yes, I know you guys have been waiting for this for quite some time, and we're finally here. Now, just to give you guys a heads up, there will be no video footage. While there's some videos where I have Toho footage, for the most part, I don't want to do it too much. They will nail you with a copyright infringement. I almost got one from them recently when I tried to upload a video that I couldn't upload. I ended up putting it up on the Facebook Nation page. So I'm just going to play it safe, so we'll do some images. But without further ado, here we go. Alright, so at number 5, I have King Kong. Yes, King Kong. King Kong put an ass whooping on Godzilla. I mean, they had a pretty brutal fight. Now, many of you know this is not my favorite Godzilla movie in the world. In fact, I think it's very cheesy, and I think the suit is very dorky looking, with the exception of some minor features that I did like. However, be that as it may, the fights in and of itself were pretty physical, and I mean, from just shoving a tree down Godzilla's throat, electrocuting him with his hands, he really put a beating on Godzilla. And I have to say that it would have been nice to see a rematch. There's this whole speculation, or rather not speculation, but rather a debate as to who won the match. As far as I know, based on what I've read, is that there was really no clear-cut winner. Many people assume that King Kong won because he came out of the ocean. From what I understand, in the if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to go back and look, but if I'm not mistaken, in the Japanese version, I don't think either one of them came out of the water. In the American version, King Kong comes out of the water. But there is no clear-cut winner. But this was a tough enemy for Godzilla, in my opinion, throughout his whole series, just because of some of the things Kong did to him. It's pretty embarrassing. Of course, the tree down the throat thing was probably not only very funny, but probably the one thing that nobody's ever done to Godzilla before. Just manhandled him and shoved something down his throat. So, okay. So at number 4, I have Hedorah, the smog monster. Really gave Godzilla a hard time. Really gave him a hard time. In fact, Godzilla even had to go as far as utilizing man-made technology combined with his breath to even pretty much weaken the monster. But before all that, I mean, he had acid spit in his face, he got pooped on, you know. I mean, he got knocked over when the monster was flying by, he's had laser beam shot in his face. I mean, he really got pummeled in this movie. And it showed how durable Godzilla can be. It showed that he can take a beating. And yeah, in the end, he did win. But he really had to pull off some miraculous feats just to do it. Of course, like I said, the atomic breath combined with the human technology. And he even had to fly. He had to fly. The only movie where he did this. He had to fly to chase down the smog monster and finish him off. So definitely Hedorah gave him a hard time. Again, would have been nice to see that sequel had they ever made it. See a rematch, but to this day, I definitely think he's one of his toughest opponents. Okay, so moving on to number 3. Mothra. Yes, Mothra. Despite the fact that Godzilla blew her out of the sky in GMK, for the most part throughout the series, Mothra has been a very annoying thorn in Godzilla's side. Whether it's the larva form or the final form, she's always giving Godzilla a hard time, has always put a beating on him or wrapped him up in webbing. Just really one of those kind of monsters that doesn't necessarily overpower him, just tends to outthink him, outmaneuver him, use tactics, guerrilla warfare, if you may, and just be a pain in the ass. And has lost to Mothra, and it's just, she's always just been that thorn. It's like Godzilla's doing this thing, Mothra shows up, and then all hell breaks loose. Even going as far as teaming up with an evil counterpart to beat Godzilla. I mean, whatever Mothra has had to do to beat Godzilla, she's always used her intellect because she can't overpower him. We all know this. But nonetheless, definitely one of his toughest enemies throughout the series. Always giving him a hard time. Has beaten him before. So even some of the other tougher monsters against Godzilla have never actually beaten him. Just like I said, Hedorah. Hedorah beat the pummel out of him, but never actually beat him. Where Mothra has. So she's got to get that respect, whether you like her or not. and she's on the list. So number 2, I'm gonna go with Space Godzilla, and this was a tough one because there's some other ones that you could put in there. Honorable mentions like Megaguirus was definitely a tough opponent. Obviously, Biollante put a good beating on him before he finally finished her off. But Space Godzilla not only beat Godzilla to a pulp, he also added insult to injury by, encasing his kid in crystals and, pretty much taking his city and making it into a Space Godzilla-like fort with all these crystals coming out of the ground. And it took Mogira really to help Godzilla finish off Space Godzilla. It's another example of Godzilla needing assistance from humans, intentional or not, so that he could finish off his enemy. And it makes you wonder, if that presence wasn't there, would he actually win? I would have to say probably not, but definitely Space Godzilla was definitely a formidable opponent for him. Gave him a hard time, and I have Space Godzilla at number 2. Finally, at number 1, I could say every incarnation of this character, or this kaiju I should say, but specifically I'm going to go with Mechagodzilla 2. It was probably the one movie that stands in my mind of all the movies where Godzilla actually looked like he was just done. Completely done. He was on the floor, he was getting blasted, he was just getting pounded with projectiles. And once again, another case of, if not for the involvement of another kaiju, in this case Rodan, he would have been a goner. He would have been a goner. They would have finished him off. And it took the Spiral Red Beam to finish off Mechagodzilla 2. I mean, Mechagodzilla 2 really put a pounding on him. It was the first time I've really seen Godzilla that close to death. Not like falling in a volcano like in '84, or not being tossed into the river, being wrapped in webbing by Mothra. Literally on the floor, getting blasted, giving no fight back, and pretty much left for dead until Rodan showed up and saved him. Basically, Rodan saved him. If it wasn't for that, I mean, you could say other movies as well. Maybe when he was fighting Kiryu in his heart, but that still, that just for me did not have the same effect as this movie, because you literally see him just on the ground, knocked out, getting destroyed. So definitely, I think Mechagodzilla 2, for me personally, is his number 1 toughest enemy at that time. Honorable mentions, there's plenty of them. Like I said, Megaguirus, obviously. You could say Kaiser Ghidorah, but he kicked that ass so bad when he came back that it was a joke. Tossing him into the air and then blasting him with the flame, with the atomic breath. That, to me, that just kind of, it was like, all right, well, he made the big comeback. You could give an honorable mention to the Muto if you want, but they kind of double teamed him, even though, they put a beating on him, but it was 2 of them. So, but anyway, that's it, guys. That is my top 5 toughest enemies for Godzilla. Hope you like it. What are your top 5 toughest enemies from? And yeah, let me know in the comments below. This is Rob signing on for ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching ETN. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Nation Facebook page. You're watching ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do a top 5. Yes, a top 5. We have not done one in quite some time, but we're going to do one. This is a request that has been asked of me for quite some time, and I finally got around to it. My top 5 toughest enemies for Godzilla. Yes, I know you guys have been waiting for this for quite some time, and we're finally here. Now, just to give you guys a heads up, there will be no video footage. While there's some videos where I have Toho footage, for the most part, I don't want to do it too much. They will nail you with a copyright infringement. I almost got one from them recently when I tried to upload a video that I couldn't upload. I ended up putting it up on the Facebook Nation page. So I'm just going to play it safe, so we'll do some images. But without further ado, here we go. All right, so at number 5, I have